Welcome to Magna Studios. Today I have something new to show you. And disclaimer, I'm sorry it's been a while since I've created videos. I want to get back more into it because I have a lot more time now. But today I'm going to present to you my new design, that being Transformers, I forgot, New Order? Transformers New Order Breakdown, which for those of you who just joined, and I'm going to say this every time, Transformers New Order is a completely different universe outside of anyone else's. It's not canon to anything. It's just I wanted to make Legos with a new Transformers design in my style, so I created a whole universe to go along with it. So without further ado, let's get into Breakdown, and let's break down, the details. Sorry. But first off, I think he's really cool. He's not really inspired by G1 except for the color matching with the white up here. There should be white here, but I think I might have to change that a bit, like when I go to another review. But the legs, he has white, and he also has like blue here. I wanted to add a tire like right here, but I think that would have been too much. I already have enough progress, but he does have an interesting foot design. There's some nice panel work that kind of overlap against the body. This is using the master frame, which I've probably never showed you before, but I think the design is really cool with these nice panel linings. And you have the back, nothing too interesting for there. And then you get the whole side view. And the main part is I wanted to make it look like it transformed. So these pieces stick out instead of being just flat, and they stick out, so which means I'm going into the back. It looks like that there's so much penalty you have to shift out and shift forward just to transform. So like this piece right here, it can hinge out, and this can hinge out too, to make it look like as if the head has to go in or something, and these need to rotate. So these can hinge too, but I don't want to move anything before it breaks. But there is the spinal column that I did love from the Travis Knights universe, or from the Rise of the Beast universe, where he had that kind of they had those spinal columns. That's probably one of my favorites from that design. But you also have like this exhaust, or like engine piece, I don't know what you would call it. But before I go into any further, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. He is a Ford, I think it's a Ford Raptor he's supposed to be, with a grill cage, which you can see right there, but we're going to get into that in a bit. But the back was nice. I wanted to add a bit more white, but I do have whites, but just not enough to cover this piece and to keep it there without changing pieces. But yeah, it does look like as if there's so much panels that collapse to him to make him transform, but he doesn't. So then going on to the chest now, as we were talking about earlier, I don't know if I can zoom in. There it is. You have the cage, the grill cage right there, which can hinge out, revealing more detail. It's nothing too much, but it does reveal the detail. The grill is actually not here. I didn't want to add the grill. I did add these pieces, but those have nothing to do with the grill. No bumper. I guess you could say the bumper's somewhere right here or right there. There's so much multi-paneling to make the design unique. But he also has like the front and the hood of the car kind of bend and fold into the chest to make it, the chest. Also to make it durable so he doesn't break or anything. It's not in real life. Like if I do this, it's gonna break easily. But I guess you could say in the universe, no one could basically penetrate through it. Same for the broad shoulders and the broad forearms, so he could cover himself along with this thing too. So pretty cool overall. Accessories, he doesn't really come with accessories. I don't give most of my characters accessories unless I have enough time to. I wanted to give him this piece or something. I don't know, any type of shield or something. But the best thing I could come up with is an alternate kind of hood piece. I don't know if you can see that. An alternate hood piece, which if I just remove it is rather easy. Just shift the panel out. That. Make sure this doesn't fall, because then it'll be quite the hassle to remove, and it just came off. So you just do that, and once you find this piece, this little like middle port, you attach it right there. Make sure it aligns well, and then you can kind of match and like align until you just have to like force it to align until it fits. So like right here, it doesn't look the best. So that's why you wouldn't use it. I chose a really thick neck guard because without it, he would have looked really weird, which I'll show you in a second. So this is pretty much without the neck guard. It looks cool and all, but I really wanted to give him something. So I gave him the neck guard, which mainly takes up most space for the... Yep, everything's going off. And I'm back, sorry, but everything's a little complicated because I'm still new to the reviews and I'm trying to get used to it. But let's just go into size comparison real quick. So putting them off to the side, some characters might not fit the frame, so I'll have to extend some things. But first off, we'll do Ironhide. So we'll just kind of put him here. He's probably one of the smallest Voyagers, but bear with me as I have to pose him. But I have done Ironhide before. I might have to redo him if you guys want me to, but here he is. He's pretty short. If I stick the head up, he's still very, very short, and he doesn't really help too much with how tall he is. But we also have another character I would like to show. I don't know if I have it with me right now, but we'll just show my next review. That being the Transformers New Order Custom Trailbreaker, which I don't know if he's gonna fall over or not. There we go. So, there we go. And you can definitely tell that they look the same height, but they're really not. He's actually taller by an inch. I mean, they're both slouched anyways, so... And this doesn't really help, so... Because he's a lot more heavy-weighted here than here. But he's an extra review. I'll do him after I'm done with this review. But that's pretty much it for that segment. And then you also got the head of Shockwave. I don't know if it'll... But moving on to articulation. It's pretty much simple, but it's also kind of limited. So there are ball joints. There are ball joints at the arms, and there are ball joints at the shoulders. So you cannot move backward, but you can hinge them out all the way. You can rotate them for better articulation, so the arms can go up about that far. Pretty good amount. With that joint, of course. And then you have, I guess you could say barely a 90-degree angle. It's like, I guess, 80 or something. Individually articulated fingers cannot go backward, but it can go forward. So that's the best part. And with rotating this, you can still get movement there, which is pretty cool. So I'm just shifting these back. It can't go that much forward with this design, but however, when you rotate the joint, you can almost get some, but not that much. Backward, barely. Hold on. Also forgot to mention one thing. There is a quote-unquote butterfly joint motion. Almost, because since the tire's here, it does limit a lot, so. But I'm going to shift these here to talk about the legs and the torso and the head. And oh my goodness, this comes off at 15. Alright, so there's a ball joint at the head that can go down that far. Right? Yep. Can go up that far, way more better than down. And this is a floating piece, if you can tell, to replace a necked design. Can tilt side to side. So pretty cool. There is torso articulation, but you need to remove all the flaps to access it. So we're going to go over that. But there's ball joint at the hip skirts that you can push forward, along with these ones too, which can get the legs to go. Disappointingly, not that much. Okay, it's not as great of an amount, but you can still fake it by going the other side. There is double jointed legs, double jointed knees, massive gap. I will fix that. I had the same issue with the other one. There's a pivot only, and there's a slight toe joint. When we put this down, you also get some slight swivel for the calf. For the swivel, but there's nothing. Can go backward that far too. Now with the accessment of this joint, you can get the torso to go backward that far. Barely any ab crunch, but with extending the joint, you can only get slightly down. You can get tilt though. A beautiful tilt. And then putting back the hip skirts. And then you're going to have to be careful with this piece because there's a hinge here, so you're going to have to flip that down all the way and then lock that in. So make sure you do that with every character that you have. With this design, of course. There you have it. There's a brief review of the Transformers New Order breakdown. There's not too much information. He's more so like a background character. He doesn't really have too much influence. He doesn't have a role too much. He's just pretty much there. He has his few moments during the Battle of Boston, but that's pretty much it. There's nothing too interesting. He's just a big, broad character. I would pretty much just remove him and give him as concept art for the story, because he doesn't really have a purpose to be in here, and yeah, I don't really find anything for him to be in there. But that's all. I'm gonna go ahead and leave, and pretty much see you all in the next video. So Cybertronian Creations out.